in Minnesota, and I don't know what it is with Midwestern Democrats, they're just cutthroat. They're not like your New York coastal elitists. They just legalized recreational marijuana with a vote of 34 to 33 along party lines, okay? They got cutthroat. They said, hail the Democratic Party, let's smoke up, let's blaze up. And they've now legalized recreational marijuana. Fantastic. I think it's good. I think this is also good for Democrats to make it a party line issue. If Republicans want to say they're the party of freedom, they care about bodily autonomy, they care about people being able to make their own life choices for their own lives, and then turn around and say, if you smoke a joint on the weekend, we should take you, separate you from your family, put you in a jail cell, and make it so your kid grows up without a father. You know, I feel like that's an easy issue to run on for Democrats. And the majority of Americans, from all the polling that I've seen, seem to support legalization of marijuana. And we're not talking, like, there's a few states where when you put it on a referendum, it doesn't win. Like if you put it on in a few Midwestern states, it will not win. But we're talking about Minnesota here, okay? Minnesota, people smoke up. It's cold in Minnesota. You ever been to Minnesota? It's cold, it's snowy, it's depressing. Everyone sounds like Canadians. It's just the environment you need to get high in, because it's the only way you'll be able to live there and not end it all, okay? So obviously, it's going to be a good winner for Democrats in Minnesota. I think Democrats across the country should, if they need to, make it a party line vote. So recreational marijuana got voted in. But during that fight to make recreational marijuana legal in Minnesota, there was a lot of back and forth debate on the House floor, on the Senate floor. Now, most of the time, we don't spend too much time looking at the individual debates back and forth on the issues. Even when even when a bill passes in Congress, most of the time we don't stop and go through all the little back and forth debate, because there's just so much, right? And much of the time it's all talking points we've heard before anyway, right? And people kind of just like showboating and kind of like yelling from the pedestal to get votes. And they're not actually trying to have a productive discussion. Might as well just be watching the hippy dippy reruns on Dylan Burns TV. Anyway, the Republican statements during this debate, though, are so interesting and so funny and so out of touch with reality that we've got to watch them, even if just for our own enjoyment, even if we get nothing out of them. But I think there is one thing we get out of this, and I want you to think about this the whole time while we're watching this clips. Okay, I want this in the back of your mind. Okay, the back of your thinker, your calculator you got in your skull. These are the people who are trying to dictate laws that separate families based upon non-violent smoking of pot. Okay, these are the people who think they're informed enough to create legislation that can ruin people's lives forever for smoking some pot at the end of the day after a hard day at work. Okay? Keep that in your mind when you're listening to what these guys are saying. So here is the first video. Just 2 ounces is equivalent to 3 joints. Let's listen.
Any person can have 8 plants at home. Now, I've seen some of the videos of DEA raids. Some of these plants are 8 and 10 feet tall.
Awesome.
You can have 8 of them.
Dude, I've seen some 10 feet. I don't think I've ever seen 10 feet before. I've seen 7, I think. 7? 7, yeah. I think I've seen 6. No, 6. 6 is more reasonable. I've seen 6-foot tall plants before. Beautiful things, man. Real beauty of nature.
You can have a privacy fence made of these products in your backyard. 2 ounces, just 2 ounces is equivalent to 3 joints. And you can...
You can hear the other legislators. You can hear them in the background laughing. You can hear them in the background laughing. They're laughing at him. He has no clue what he's talking about, man. Somebody just told him that in the hallway to screw with him, see if he would actually say it. And that's the guy laughing, probably. The guy who's like, oh my God, I can't believe he actually said it.
And you can possess up to, what is it, a 1.5 pounds? 1.5 pounds you can hold.
So what? It should be as much as you want. Honestly, I don't understand why we would even set a limit to begin with. But Warren Limer, that sounds like somebody who's never touched weed in his entire life. My God, man, it's so bad. This dude, this is a guy who wants to lock people up over smoking pot, something he knows nothing about. Next person. I don't know how to explain to you that other states have legal cannabis and are doing fine. Let's see what this guy says.
I think if this bill passes today in Minnesota, Minnesota is going to go up in smoke.
Low rider. The only up in smoke it's going to go into is like Cheech and Chong style, okay? It's going to be fine. Minnesota is going to burn to the ground. It's Minnesota, so, I mean, you're not going to be able to deal with that fact that it's still Minnesota. But, you know, you're going to survive. There's other states that have legalized marijuana. Actually, I'm from Maryland, and I think 1 month or 2 months, pot's going to be legal. When I come back to Maryland, pot's going to be legal. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get as much pot as I can. I'm going to go to Ocean City. If I go back in July, I'm thinking of going back to spend a little bit of time with family before coming back to Ukraine. And I'm going to get so messed up. And I'm going to do it in the name, of Warren Limer and whoever this guy is. Let's go to the next one. Pour one out for all the victims of cannabis overdoses. I salute all the victims.
I'm going to take you to my home where I live, and the small community that has 5 overdoses a week. And that's just the ones they count anymore that make it to the emergency room because they think,
Doctor, quick, he's overdosed on pot. What do we do? Give me some Cheetos. Stat, somebody, call up Papa John's. We don't have Papa John's. We only have Little Caesars. By God, we can't get him through this with only Little Caesars. Oh no, somebody, Chipotle. How do you overdose on pot? Dude, these guys know nothing. These are the guys crafting legislation that separates families over pot smoking. It's ridiculous, man. It's all just fear mongering.
figure it's way more because of the Narcan pens. And so I hope that you're listening out there.
Narcan. Dude, I'm so happy this guy isn't like a cop or something. Could you imagine somebody's like smoking pot and he like takes a Narcan pen and just shoves it in their nose? It's like, quick, I'm gonna save you.
This thing is likely going to pass here today. The governor will gladly sign it.
Amen.
And the people at home in the communities are going to have to put a tight rein on what's going on because their families are going to suffer from this.
What are they going to suffer from, man? I mean, I don't know, a Dorito shortage? Like what's going to be the horrible thing that falls upon your community? Look, here is the standard I want from people who want to keep marijuana illegal. Ban alcohol. Go back to Prohibition era. Alcohol kills many more people. There's fetal alcohol poisoning, which is a major issue, actually. These are real health issues that can actually end up killing people unless you're lacing the pot, which is, if you do lace the pot with something else and smoke it, it's no longer a pot issue. Okay. It's now an issue of whatever you've laced it with. You cannot, and I mean this, you cannot under any circumstances overdose on marijuana. That's not a thing that happens. This is completely fabricated.
Absolutely. This is a gateway drug. I've been around a long time on this earth, and I can tell you, I've seen this. I've seen it from the time I was a boy when the levels were small up to today. And it does destroy lives, and it does affect brain growth.
Well, then just restrict it from children. That's like do what we do with alcohol. We have the structures in place. We have the structures in place to do this. He can't be acting the stupid, man.
Don't let this fool you out there that this is somehow some kind of wonderful only medical procedure that
who cares if it's medical or recreational, man? I've never used it for, well, I guess, like, I don't know, man. I have, my work is kind of stressful. I guess you can call it medical in a way. But I mean, most people use it recreationally anyway. But what's wrong with them using it recreationally? Just do it like they do it in the Netherlands, man. We should have bars that serve pot instead of drinks. And the best snacks and like some fantastic sodas. We should have those in every major city in the United States.
Goes on with this, and that it's not going to harm anybody. It harms people every day, and people do die from it.
Nobody wants to. Who? Name, single name, please.
Maybe not directly, maybe
Oh, so okay, so they don't die from it. Okay, people die from this. Well, okay, maybe not directly. Well, how do they die? Do they smoke it and then they like fall out their window? How do they die?
directly.
Indirectly,
But the results of the use of this drug are immense.
Oh, immense. Let's see what this.
So I was
has to say.
affected by marijuana.
How I almost wrecked my life. Anti-cannabis Minnesota Republican says he used weed in college and it made him lazy and hurt his grades.
So I was affected by marijuana. Like Senator Abler back in the day in college, high school, into college, I started using it. I worked a lot through high school. My first job was in 3rd grade, picking up golf balls on the golf course. I put money away. I wanted to go to college.
I feel like one of those golf balls might have, hit him upside the head. Sorry, didn't even hear what he had to say yet.
Put money away through high school. When I was a senior in high school, I was the dairy manager at the local grocery store. I'd go in before I went to school. I'd stock shelves. Then I'd go to school. When I was done with school, I'd go back as the dairy manager, and I'd order the products that had been sold that day. So the next day, I could go back in again and get another truck and do the same. I worked all through high school, saved up money, went to the University of Minnesota, Duluth. Started using marijuana. And I did get lazy. It does happen. It doesn't happen to everybody, but it does to people.
So it happens to some people.
Some people it does, some people it doesn't. So I went through college.
Dude, just ask all these people, do you want to ban alcohol? Because all the issues they have with marijuana, it is 10 to 20 to 30 times worse when it comes to alcohol. And people actually do directly die from alcohol poisoning. People in their 30s who have had to get defibrillators in their 30s because of overconsumption of alcohol. That's insane. Marijuana's never done that.